For part 2 of our robotic themed drawing project, we're going to learn another tangle. This one is called Metroz by Anya Ipsen. Spell that out here. Metroz by Anya Ipsen. For us, this tangle will be used to either be a robotic or technological symbol, or for potentially a tree or object that might appear in our robot world, in our robot scene when we do it. So here's how we draw this pattern. We're going to create some orbs or circles on the page. We want to add a little variety and randomness to where they appear and how they appear. So we're going to kind of just draw some shapes here. Like that, and let's do 1, 2 there. So now that we've got some orbs on the page, we want to assume now that this is going to be a tree. So we're going to start with the trunk of that tree and come up to where that orb is, and now we're going to stay outside of it, circle around it without touching it. And when we get where we're in line with another orb, this is a little hard to describe here. What I want to do is create a connection between these, working kind of from left to right. And here now we're going to connect down this way. Down here. Now over to here. Now let's draw the rest of that trunk. Now we've got some open space here, so we're going to connect in. And we're going to complete the inside of this pattern here. Now the original pattern is done a little bit differently because it's used in a less of a technical sense or technological sense, but I like to create these unusual shapes that look, again, science fiction-y or robotic or mechanical or technological. Now we've got a nice space here, so let's add some additional ones. So let's add another slightly smaller tree here. Our little robot tree. They got to have some kind of mechanical plants in their world. And I'm just connecting them in the opposite direction this time because that's where my space allows me to focus on that. And here we did not have all those inside things to complete. But now we've got that. Oh, and let me zoom in a little bit for you. I apologize for that being kind of far out there. What we want to do is add some shading. Again, with all tangles, there's multiple ways we could shade this. I'm going to do a twofold. I'm going to create a little bit of a smiley face, if you will, or a little C curved line shape in these slightly larger orbs where it will allow for that. And then I'm also going to create a little bit of a line in these larger areas, if I can, and on these little bumps that are outside of those orbs. So you could imagine, if you wanted to, that these orbs are spots or holes in this robotic tree, or they could be, as I'm doing, an orb or some sort of piece of that technology. And I'm going to create a line here where I'm going to use that to do some shading. And now when I get my paper stump, I'm going to blend a little bit here, just touching lightly to create almost like that's an orb or a gem that is placed in the center. And we got a little bit of a shadow being cast or reflection if this is some kind of metal. And even though I didn't put any graphite in some of these areas, I can still rub that or disperse the existing graphite that's on my tortillon to help create some shape to this. As I mentioned on our past project, it's just by adding graphite in these simple ways, it just helps us to make our drawings not look so flat. It looks like there's some kind of shape or dimension to them. And so that is that. A very, very simple tangle that's fun to experiment with, and you can draw these in any way that you'd like as far as the arrangement of these orbs and just practice connecting them together. But by having this basic introduction, you can see now and get used to using this tangle for our final drawing when we reach to that spot.